2024 into brackets 025, dated the 8th of October 2024, the Speaker of the National Assembly informed the Speaker of the Senate that at a sitting of the National Assembly held on Tuesday, the 8th of October 2024, pursuant to Article 145(2), as read with Article 150 of the Constitution, the National Assembly approved a motion for the removal from office by impeachment of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua AGH, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. The Speaker of the National Assembly forwarded the following documents to the Senate, being the record of proceedings of the National Assembly and the evidence, a copy of the notice affidavit Mwing MP dated 26th of September 2024 and received on the 27th of September 2024, running from page 40 to 42. 2. Electronic evidence relating to the special motion contained in a flash disk. 3. Order papers for 1st of October 2024. Communication from the Chair, number 046 of 2024, issued on Tuesday, the 1st of October 2024. Communication from the Chair, number 047 of 2024, issued on Tuesday, the 1st of October 2024. Certified Hansard and votes and proceedings for the 1st of October 2024. Communication from the Chair, number 048 of 2024, issued on the 2nd of October 2024. Letters of appointment of advocates for A. Swanyan Company Advocates for His Excellency the Deputy President. B. Dunstan Omari Advocates for Morani Manufacturers Limited. Letter to His Excellency the Deputy President forwarding the notice of motion. Affidavit of service on His Excellency the Deputy President. Order paper for the 2nd of October 2024. Being the Daily Nation newspaper, Standard newspaper, and Star newspaper. Public participation advertisement of the 3rd of October 2024, being the Daily Nation newspaper, Standard newspaper, Star newspaper, and Taifa Leo. Public views, template, English, and Kiswahili. Praise statement by the Clerk of the National Assembly on the extension of public participation issued on the 4th of October 2024. Public participation advertisement of the 5th of October 2024, being Standard, Saturday Nation newspaper, and Standard newspaper. Public participation report tabled on the 8th of October 2024. Response to the notice of special motion from His Excellency the Deputy President received on the 8th of October 2024 at 4 p.m. Electronic evidence by His Excellency the Deputy President relating to the special motion contained in a flash disk. Order paper for Tuesday, the 8th of October 2024. Communication from the Chair, number 049 of 2024, issued on Tuesday, the 8th of October 2024, and certified Hansard and votes and proceedings for the 8th of October 2024. Now, Honorable Senators, pursuant to Article 145, subsection 3A of the Constitution, and Standing Order 78(1) of the Senate, at the sitting of the Senate held on Wednesday, the 9th of October 2024, the charges against His Excellency the Deputy President, as contained in the motion of impeachment by the National Assembly, were read out to the assembled Senate. Honorable Senators, at this juncture, allow me to remind you of the mandate of the Senate in relation to the proposed removal from office by impeachment of the Deputy President as provided for under Articles 150 and 145 of the Constitution, as read together with Standing Order 78 of the Senate. In particular, Article 150 of the Constitution states as follows. The Deputy President may be removed from office, A, on the ground of physical or mental incapacity to perform the functions of the office, or B, on impeachment on the ground of a gross violation of a provision of this Constitution or any other law, and 2, where there are serious reasons to believe that the Deputy President has committed a crime under national or international law, or 3, for gross misconduct. 2, the provisions of Articles 144 and 145 relating to the removal of the President shall apply with the necessary modifications to the removal of the Deputy President. Now, Article 145 of the Constitution, Standing Order 78, Part 1 of the second schedule of the Standing Orders of the Senate, provide for the procedure to be followed in the hearing and determination of the proposed removal from office by impeachment of the Deputy President. Specifically, Article 145.3 of the Constitution and Standing Order 78.1 of the Senate provide that the Senate may, by resolution, appoint a special committee comprising 11 of its members to investigate the matter. Honorable Senators will recall that at a sitting of the Senate held on Wednesday, the 9th of October 2024, the motion for establishment of special committee was deemed to have been withdrawn pursuant to Standing Order 70. This therefore paved the way for the investigation on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of His Excellency the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya to be held in plenary. Honorable Senators, ladies and gentlemen, by way of status update, pursuant to Rules 4A, Senator Karen Nyamo, attentive please. By way of status update, pursuant to Rules 4A and 6 of the Rules of Procedure, when considering the proposed removal of the Deputy President in plenary, the Senate invited the Deputy President to appear and be represented before the Senate during its investigation. The Senate further invited the Deputy President, if he so chooses, to appear before the Senate to file an answer to the charges with the Office of the Clerk of the Senate by 5 p.m. on Monday, 14th of October 2024, setting out the following. 1, the Deputy President's response to the particulars of the allegations. 2, the mode of appearance before the Senate, whether in person, by advocate, or in person and by advocate. 3, the names and addresses of the persons to be called as witnesses, if any, and witness statements containing a summary of the evidence to be presented by such witnesses before the Senate. And lastly, any other evidence to be relied on. Pursuant to Rules 4B and 7 of the Rules of Procedure, when considering the proposed removal of the Deputy President plenary, the Senate notified the National Assembly of the date for the commencement of the investigation and invited the National Assembly to designate members of the National Assembly who shall appear and represent the National Assembly before the Senate during the investigation. The National Assembly was further invited, if it so chooses, to appear before the Senate to file with the Office of the Clerk of the Senate by 5 p.m. on Monday, 14th of October 2024, setting out documentation of the following. 1, designating members of the National Assembly, if any, who shall attend and represent the National Assembly in the proceeding before the Senate. 2, indicating the mode of appearance before the Senate, whether in person, by advocate, or in person and by advocate. 3, indicating the names and addresses of the persons to be called as witnesses, if any, and witness statements containing a summary of the evidence to be presented by such witnesses before the Senate. And lastly, specifying any other evidence to be relied on. Now, honorable Senators, ladies and gentlemen, on 14th of October 2024, the Office of the Clerk of the Senate received a response reference number SW/153/VOEN/01/2024 and dated the 14th of October 2024 to the invitation to appear issued to the Deputy President from Ms. Sanywa Company Advocates, who indicated that His Excellency the Deputy President had appointed the firm to represent him in the proceeding before the Senate, and that the Deputy President would also appear in person and by advocates. The letter also indicated the list of counsel representing His Excellency, the Deputy President, and the list of witnesses for the Deputy President. Similarly, on 14th of October 2024, The Office of the Clerk of the Senate received a response reference number NA/CAN/CORE/2024 into brackets 562 and dated 14th of October 2024 to the invitation to appear issued to the National Assembly from the Clerk of the National Assembly indicating that Mr. G&A Advocates LLP have been appointed to represent the National Assembly and that the National Assembly will appear in person and by advocates. The letter also indicated the members of the National Assembly representing the National Assembly in these proceedings and the witnesses for the National Assembly. Pursuant to Rule 8 of the Rules of Procedure, when considering the proposed removal from office of the Deputy President in plenary, on Monday, 14th of October 2024, the Clerk of the Senate furnished each party with the documentation filed by the other party in accordance with Rule 6 and 7 of the Rules of Procedure. Honorable Senators, ladies and gentlemen, the hearing program, which has been appended to today's order paper, details the various activities in the hearing and determination of the matter and the time allocated for each activity. It will be crucial that all parties comply with the time allocated. I will repeat, it will be crucial that all parties comply with the time allocated. The parties will be notified of the balance of time on each activity through the clerks at the table. In summary, the program states that after we have dispensed with the preliminary matters today, Wednesday, 16th of October 2024, the charges against the Deputy President, as submitted by the National Assembly, shall be read. Thereafter, His Excellency the Deputy President will be given an opportunity to take a plea on the charges. This will be followed by an opening statement by the National Assembly and the Deputy President. After the conclusion of the opening statements, the presentation of the case of the National Assembly shall commence. The National Assembly will have a maximum of 3 hours for presentation of the case and re-examination, while the Deputy President will be allocated 2 hours for cross-examination of witnesses after presentation of the case by the National Assembly. Honorable Senators will be given an opportunity to ask questions or seek clarification from the National Assembly. This will take us up to the end of today's sitting. At the sitting scheduled for tomorrow, Thursday, the 17th of October 2024, His Excellency the Deputy President will present his case before the Senate. The Deputy President will have a maximum of 3 hours for presentation of the case and re-examination, while the National Assembly will be allowed 2 hours for cross-examination of witnesses. Honorable Senators will also be given an opportunity to ask questions or seek clarifications from the Deputy President, following which the closing statements by the parties will be made for a period not exceeding 1 hour each. As provided for under Rule 27 of the Rules of Procedure for removal of Deputy President by impeachment, after the closing statements have been made, the hearing shall conclude and the Senate shall proceed into camera session to deliberate on the issues raised. The Senate shall thereafter proceed to debate a special motion prior to voting on each of the charges. At this stage, a supplementary order paper will be issued to facilitate this debate. In accordance with Article 145(7) of the Constitution and Standing Order 788 of the Senate, the voting shall be by all senators. The Deputy President shall cease to hold office if at least 2/3 of all senators vote to uphold any of the impeachment charges. If, however, the vote in the Senate fails to result in the removal of the Deputy President, the Speaker of the Senate shall notify the Speaker of the National Assembly accordingly. Honorable Senators, I now invite Counsel for the National Assembly to introduce the legal team of the National Assembly and the members representing the National Assembly by stating the full name and designation of each person. You may proceed, Counsel.
Mr. Speaker, sir, for the National Assembly, the legal representation is as follows. The Honorable James Orengo, Senior Counsel, leading the team. Mr. Paul Nyamodi, Legal Counsel. Myself, Eric Gumbo, Legal Counsel. Dr. Mudomi Viankolu, Legal Counsel. Mr. Moses Kipkogei, Legal Counsel, Mr. Peter Wanyama, Legal Counsel, Mr. Ken Meli, Legal Counsel, and Mr. Mwangi Kangu, Legal Counsel. Mr. Speaker, sir, this team is further assisted by a team of our younger colleagues, Mr. Alex Bayer, Legal Counsel, Mr. Elias Ouma, Legal Counsel, Mr. Eric Muriuki, Legal Counsel, Mr. Boniface Mawira, Legal Counsel, and Ms. Joan Jeruto, Legal Counsel. From the National Assembly, we have the Honorable Otiende Amolo, Senior Counsel. We have the Honorable George Gitonga Mrugara. We have the Honorable Samuel Chepkonga. We have the Honorable John Makali. And we also have the Honorable Zamzam Mohammed. I submit, Mr. Speaker, sir.
I similarly now invite counsel for His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, to introduce the legal team representing His Excellency the Deputy President by stating the full name and designation of each person. Counsel, you may proceed.
Mheshimiwa Speaker, honorable senators, the legal team representing His Excellency the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, who is present in this august house, are as follows. Myself, Paul Muite, Elisha Ongoya, Tom Macharia, Soanya Victor Ogeto, Ndego Anjiro, John Jomo, Faith Waigwa, Amos Kisilu, George Wandati, George Sakiba, Andrew Muge, Eric Naibei, Mrs. Julia Omwamba, and Mr. Willis Echeza. Mheshimiwa Speaker, we will be raising an issue about one of the members of the legal team read out this morning as representing the National Assembly. I thank you, and I thank honorable members.
Honorable Senators, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Senate, I welcome the National Assembly and its team, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGS, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, and his team, members of the public and the media, to the Senate and to these proceedings. Now, as you are aware, Article 118 of the Constitution mandates Parliament to conduct its business in an open manner, and that its sittings and those of its committees shall be open to the public. The hearing of the proposed removal from office of the Deputy President pursuant to Article 145 of the Constitution, Standing Order 78, and the second schedule to the Standing Orders of the Senate is a matter that has generated immense public interest. The Senate, in this particular hearing, has facilitated members of the public who are interested in the proceeding to access its galleries. However, I draw the attention of the members of the public who are seated in the galleries to Rule 28 of the Speaker's rules, which state as follows. Visitors in the galleries shall remain seated, shall not applaud, comment audibly, make signs, eat, sleep, read books, newspapers, or other material except the order paper for the day, or create any disturbance. I request the members of public to observe the aforesaid rule. Any member of the public who contravenes the Speaker's rule will be inviting stern action against them, which includes expulsion from the precincts of Parliament. The office of the Clerk of the Senate is directed to ensure compliance with the Speaker's rules. Honorable Senators, ladies and gentlemen, finally, I now invite the Clerk to read the particulars of the allegations against His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Clerk, you may proceed.
Mr. Speaker, sir, my name is Dave Wanjiro, and perhaps before we proceed to the next session, my senior counsel, Paul Moite, did raise an issue that we have an objection in terms of the appearances of legal counsel appearing for the National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, sir, our objection is in line with the conduct of this House, and the records bear as witness that we also have, we'll also be relying on an authority in our objection. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are raising an objection to the appearance of my senior advocate, legal counsel, James Orengo, to represent the National Assembly in these proceedings. And this is the basis of our objection briefly, that my learned friend, senior James Orengo, is a full-time serving state officer as per Article 260 of the Constitution, as read together with Section 26, subsection 2 of the Leadership and Integrity Act, which bars a full-time state officer from engaging in meaningful employment. Mr. Speaker, sir, it will be prejudicial to our client if this House was to allow my learned friend, senior James Orengo, to represent the National Assembly in these proceedings. Mr. Speaker, sir, just recently, this House, which is a House of record, we bear as witness that during the impeachment of the Deputy Governor of Kisii County, the County Assembly attempted to appear by legal counsel represented by one Honorable Soro. An objection was raised by my learned friend, Senator Chargay, which objection was sustained by this House. Mr. Speaker, sir, our objection is further premised in the High Court decision, that is High Court Constitutional Petition 204 of 2019, where Justice Ogola barred His Excellency the Governor of Siaya County from representing the then Director General of Kenya Port Authority, one Daniel Maduk. The judgment is before this honorable court, honorable House, that a person who is engaged in full-time employment cannot then purport to appear and represent a party before this assembly. It will raise serious conflict of interests. The same will prejudice our client, and it's also in violation of clear provisions of the law as cited. In that respect, Mr. Speaker, sir, we invite you to uphold our objection before the charges are read out to the to our client. Mr. Speaker, sir, in this ruling that I've just cited, the court was of the view that a person who is engaged in in full-time engagement as a state officer cannot and is barred from representing a party in a private capacity. We so beseech you, Mr. Speaker, sir, to uphold our objection. I am most humbled.
Counsel for the National Assembly, if you look at our program, the preliminary objections were to be raised after His Excellency has taken plea. And therefore, we'll allow the clerk to read the charges. Before anything else, I will allow the Counsel for the National Assembly to respond, and therefore I will make my ruling, and then we'll take it from there.
I am most obliged, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Proposed removal from office by impeachment of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Particulars of the allegations. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, please take the stand. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, the grounds for your proposed removal from office by impeachment, as received by the Senate from the National Assembly, are as follows. Part A, gross violation of the Constitution or any other law pursuant to Article 51(b)(1) of the Constitution. Ground 1, gross violation of Articles 10, 2A, B, and C, 27(4), 73(1)A and 2B, 75(1)C, and 129(2) of the Constitution, and Articles 147(1), as read with Article 131(2)C and D of the Constitution. The preamble of the Constitution provides, among other things, that the people of Kenya adopted and enacted it, A, being proud of the ethnic, cultural, and religious diversity, and a determination to live in peace and unity as one indivisible sovereign nation, and B, recognizing the aspirations of all Kenyans for a government based on the essential values of human rights, equality, freedom, democracy, social justice, and the rule of law. The preamble of the Constitution is supplemented by Article 10, 2A, B, and C of the Constitution, which establishes the core national values and principles of governance that bind all state officers, including the Deputy President. These values and principles include patriotism, human dignity, national unity, equity, social justice, inclusiveness, non-discrimination, equality, human rights, protection of the marginalized, democracy, and good governance. Moreover, Articles 73(1)A and 2B of the Constitution establish responsibilities of leadership. They provide that the authority assigned to a state officer, such as the Deputy President, is a public trust to be exercised in a manner that is consistent with the purpose and objects of the Constitution, demonstrates respect for the people, brings honor to the nation and dignity to the office, and promotes public confidence in the integrity of the office. Also, Article 27(4) of the Constitution prohibits all forms of discrimination, including discrimination based on ethnic or social origin, conscience, belief, language, and birth. Further, Article 73 2B of the Constitution provides that decision-making should be objective and impartial and should not be influenced by favoritism and improper motives. Furthermore, Article 75 1C of the Constitution provides that a state officer should behave, whether in public and official life, in private life, or in association with other persons, in a manner that avoids demeaning the office he holds. Therefore, as a matter of constitutional compliance, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, who is the principal assistant to the President of the Republic, is required, A, to promote the constitutional core values such as peace and unity of all Kenyans in the context of ethnic, cultural, and religious diversity, patriotism, national unity, rule of law, democracy, and participation of the people, equity, social justice, inclusiveness, equality, human rights, non-discrimination, and protection of the marginalized, and good governance. B, to respect and uphold representation of Kenya's multi-ethnic and culturally diverse society through the promotion of equality and affording equal opportunities to all Kenyans in appointments to the public service and allocation of public resources. And C, to make, promote, and implement public policy decisions that do not discriminate against any Kenyan based on conscience, ethnic or social origin, language, or birth. However, on diverse dates throughout the last 2 years, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has persistently made utterances threatening to discriminate, exclude, and unlawfully deny sections of the people of Kenya and regions of the Republic of Kenya equal opportunities for public service appointments and allocation of public resources. Besides, the utterances are highly inflammatory and insightful and significantly undermine national unity and the peaceful coexistence of Kenya's diverse communities. To illustrate, A, sometime in 2023, at a public forum in Kajiado County within the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua highly inflammatory and insightful public pronouncements to the effect that the government of Kenya is a company and that the allocation of government development projects and public sector jobs are based on shares determined by how the populace of the various ethnic communities voted in the 2022 general election. Specifically, he stated as follows, quote, "A government is like a company. There is shareholding. Kuna wale who have invested a lot of shares, kuna wale wameweka kidogo, kuna wale wamekataa, lakini wote ni wa Kenya. So ndio tukasema, kama wewe umeenda kupanda mahindi, ama wacha nipeane example ya ng'ombe, kwa sababu niko Kajiado. Wewe uko na ng'ombe yako ya maziwa, hiyo ng'ombe imezaliwa ikiwa njao, umeichunga vizuri, umepatia majani, umenunulia dairy meal, umepatia chumvi, umepeleka kwa malisho, umepatia maji, imezaa, imeanza kukamuliwa. Wewe unatakiwa kwanza ukue mtu ya kwanza kukamua hiyo ng'ombe na kunywa maziwa." End of quote. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua emphasized the divisive and insightful narrative embodied in the above utterances as follows, quote, "Haiwezekani mtu ambaye alikuwa anakupigia kelele ukichunga hii ng'ombe na kusema hii ng'ombe ni ile ya kienyeji, hakuna haja ya kushughulika naye. Hii ng'ombe ni bure, haiwezi kutoa maziwa. Hii ng'ombe hata ikipona jicho moja, wachana nayo, unapoteza wakati." Saa ile ng'ombe imezaa, imetoa maziwa, amekuja na kikombe, amekuja na sufuria, anataka atolewe maziwa. Mimi nikasema hiyo haiwezekani. Nikasema yule mwenye hii ng'ombe na kuichunga na kuitunza, kwanza akamue maziwa, yeye na watoto wake wakunywe. Ile itabaki aitie majirani. Hata yule alikuwa anapiga kelele akisema hii ng'ombe ni bure na haiwezekani, kama kunayo imebaki pia apewe, kama hakuna imebaki atembee. Si namna hiyo? End of quote. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua made similar remarks at another public forum as follows. Quote, "A government is like a company. I did not say it is a company. I said it is like a company. In every company, there are shares, preferential shares and ordinary shares. When there is an AGM, non-shareholders do not vote or attend the AGM. When there are dividends to be divided, they are divided according to the number of shares. That is the truth." End of quote. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua continued the insightful and divisive utterances at yet another forum where he stated as follows, quote, "Si lazima tungeangalia nyinyi. Sisi lazima tungeangalia nyinyi. Hii serikali ni kampuni na ni ya shares. Si ndio? Ni ya shares. Kuna wenye kampuni, wale wako na shares mingi, wale wako na chache. Kuna wale hawana. Sasa nyinyi mliinvest kwa hii kampuni ya William Ruto na Rigathi Gachagua. Sasa lazima mvune. Yule ambaye alipanda atafanya nini? Si mlipanda? Si mliamka mapema? End of quote. At another forum in Nandi County, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua continued the same divisive and insightful narrative as follows. Quote, "Raisa ako pale niko hapo. Raisa ako pale niko hapo. Huyu Felix ako hapo. Mimi mnanijua msimamo wangu, ya kwamba watoto wakiwa wengi, kuna wale kwanza ya kuangaliwa. Si mnajua? Sasa huyu Felix ako pale ndiye kuunganisha mawaya. Mambo yenu tumepanga. Mambo iko sawa. Chakula iko jikoni, karibu kuiva. Watoto ni wengi, chakula ni kidogo. Iko watoto ya nyumbani, iko wajirani. Iko namna hiyo. Na nyinyi mtulie. Chakula ikiiva, sisi ndio wenye kupakua. Na watoto tunawajua kwa sura na kwa msimamo. Hatuwezi kuwa confused. Kuna mtu hajui watoto wake? Na wiki inakuja tutatangaza hatua kali ile tutachukua na ile maneno tumepanga." End of quote. In addition, in September 2024, during a public rally in Nairobi, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua made public utterances that incited other communities against the ethnic communities that live around the Mount Kenya region by stating as follows, quote, "Na mimi mkaniambia nimsaidie rais kwa kazi. Lakini nikiwa hapo kwa serikali, nikuwe pia nikichunga mambo ya watu wa mlima. Niendelee kuchunga mambo ya mlima ama nisichunge?" Sasa hiyo kuchunga mambo ya mlima inaniletea matatizo. Ati naambiwa mimi ni mkabila. Mimi ni mkabila kweli? Nikichunga mambo ya watu wa mlima, iko makosa? Iko makosa? End of quote. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's utterances throughout the past 2 years undermined the promotion of national unity in the context of Kenyan society's multi-ethnic demography.
Clerk, just pause for a bit. Honorable Senators, just put your phones on silence. Please, proceed, Clerk.
repeat. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's utterances throughout the past 2 years undermine the promotion of national unity in the context of Kenyan society's multi-ethnic demography and multicultural diversity. In addition, they have the potential to alienate, isolate, and create disharmony among the various ethnic communities of Kenya. In summary, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's above-mentioned utterances over the last 2 years are impeachable offenses to the extent that they grossly violate Articles 10, 2A, B, and C, 27.4, 73.1A and 2B, 75.1C, and 129.2 of the Constitution, and Article 147.1 as read with Article 131.2C and D of the Constitution. Specifically, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's divisive and insightful public utterances over the last 2 years, A, are incompatible with the high calling and dignified status of the office of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, B, can stir ethnic hatred and promote ethnic balkanization of the Republic of Kenya, C, falsely alluded to an non-existent government policy to discriminate and marginalize the populace of the regions and tribes that did not vote for the current administration in the 2022 general elections. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 1, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Ground 2, gross violation of Articles 147.1 and 152.1 of the Constitution. Article 147.1 of the Constitution provides that the Deputy President shall be the principal assistant of the President and shall deputize for the President in the execution of the President's functions. In addition, Article 152.1 of the Constitution states that the Deputy President is a member of the Cabinet. On various dates throughout the last 2 years, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua undermined the President and the Cabinet and the effective discharge of the national government's executive mandate by making unilateral public statements that were inconsistent with policy positions collectively adopted by the government. To illustrate, A, on or around 30th April 2024, the Cabinet passed a resolution for the evacuation of people residing along the Nairobi River. B, shortly after that, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua made a public statement opposing the Nairobi River riparian evacuation orders, which the Cabinet had sanctioned for public safety and climate change mitigation. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua made contradictory public statements despite being a member of the Cabinet and being assigned the function of superintending the Nairobi River riparian evacuation order. In addition, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has on several occasions throughout the last 2 years made public statements contradicting the President on critical matters of governance and the exercise of the President's functions as a symbol of national unity. To illustrate, in March 2023, at a public forum in the Nyanza region, the President said Kenya belongs to all, notwithstanding how people voted in the 2022 general elections, and that he would ensure the government does not discriminate against anyone. However, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, speaking after the President at another public forum, contradicted him by saying that Kenya is a company in which the provision of government services is based on shares. B, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has made numerous other utterances at public forums where he publicly restates the divisive narrative that Kenya is a company in which the rights of citizens are based on shares determined by how various ethnic communities voted in the 2022 general elections. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's unilateral, divisive, and insightful public statements are impeachable offenses to the extent that A, they undermine the effective discharge of the national government's executive mandate, B, they violate the doctrine of collective responsibility, C, they are equivalent to insubordination of the President, which is incompatible with his constitutional status as the principal assistant to the President of the Republic of Kenya. Your Excellency, Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 2, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Ground 3, gross violation of Articles 6.2, 10.2a, 174, 186.1, 189.1, and the 4th schedule to the Constitution, that is, undermining devolution. Article 10.2a of the Constitution provides that devolution is a fundamental national value and principle of governance. In addition, Article 6.2 of the Constitution provides that governments at the county and national levels are distinct and interdependent and shall conduct their mutual relations based on consultation and cooperation. These provisions are supplemented by Article 189(1) of the Constitution, which provides that governments at each level shall perform and exercise their powers in a manner that respects the functional and institutional integrity of government at the other level. Under paragraph 7A of part 2 of the 4th schedule to the Constitution, county governments are responsible for trade development and markets as an exclusive function. Moreover, the Deputy President chairs the Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council, an essential organ for consultation between the two levels of government. On or around 20th September 2024, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, recklessly, unmindful of the high calling and dignified status of the office of the Deputy President of the Republic, unlawfully interfered with the running of Nairobi City County Government by holding a public rally in which he incited citizens against lawful directives of the Nairobi City County Government on the planning and relocation of markets. Further, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua publicly disparaged the leadership of the Nairobi City County Government and its decisions. Moreover, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has interfered with the proper discharge of county government's constitutional functions regarding alcohol control and regulation. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's insightful and demeaning public statements and conduct are impeachable offenses to the extent that A, they undermine devolution, B, they undercut the functional and institutional integrity of county governments, C, they unjustifiably vilify and ridicule the leadership of county governments, especially the Nairobi City County Government. Consequently, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has grossly violated Article 6.2.
Clerk, just a minute. I realize what you're reading is fairly long. His Excellency the Deputy President, if you may will, you may sit, and when taking the plea, you may stand.
No, Mr. Speaker, let me stand.
You may proceed, Clerk.
I repeat, consequently, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has grossly violated Articles 6.2, 10.2a, 174, 186.1, and 189.1 of the Constitution, as read with the 4th schedule to the Constitution. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 3, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Ground 4, gross violation of Article 161 of the Constitution, that is, undermining the institutional and decisional independence of judges. Article 161 of the Constitution provides that the judiciary shall be subject only to this Constitution and the law, and shall not be subject to the control or direction of any person or authority. Many international law instruments, treaties, and principles require the guarantee of the judiciary's independence and require all government officers and institutions to respect and observe it. In 2023, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, recklessly, unmindful of the high calling and dignified status of the office of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, and the need to respect, protect, and uphold the independence of the judiciary, made a scathing public attack against the Honorable Lady Justice Esther Maina, Judge of the High Court of Kenya, and falsely threatened to file a petition for the removal of the said judge in gross violation of Article 160 5 of the Constitution. The Honorable Judge had presided over a case in which His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua was a party and had, in the lawful performance of her judicial function, ordered His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua to forfeit to the state the sum of Kenya shillings 200 million, which she had found to be proceeds of corruption and money laundering. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's public attacks against the judge are impeachable offenses to the extent that they undermine the functional and decisional independence of judges. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 4, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Ground 5, gross violation of Articles 3.1 and 148.5a of the Constitution, that is breach of the oath of office and allegiance. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's actions and utterances outlined in grounds 1, 2, 3, and 4 constitute a gross violation of Article 3.1 of the Constitution, which requires every person to respect, uphold, and defend the Constitution. Further, the actions and utterances of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua grossly violate Article 148.5a of the Constitution, which prescribes the oath of allegiance of the office of the Deputy President, that obligates the Deputy President to obey, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and all other laws. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 5, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Part B, serious reasons to believe that the Deputy President has committed a crime under national law pursuant to Article 151b(2) of the Constitution. Ground 6, serious reasons to believe that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has committed crimes under Sections 13(1)(a) and 62 of the National Cohesion and Integration Act. Section 13 of the National Cohesion and Integration Act provides that it is an offense for any person to use threatening, abusive, or insulting words or behavior where the person intends to stir up feelings of ethnic contempt, hatred, hostility, violence, or discrimination. The section also makes it an offense to use such words or engage in such behavior when, having regard to all the circumstances, ethnic hatred is likely to be stirred up. Besides, Section 62 of the National Cohesion and Integration Act states that a person commits an offense when the person makes statements that are intended or are likely to stir up feelings of ethnic contempt, hatred, hostility, violence, or discrimination. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's persistent, inflammatory, reckless, insightful public utterances over the last 2 years, the details of which are set out in grounds 1, 2, 3, and 4, establish serious reasons to believe that he has committed crimes under Section 13(1) and 62 of the National Cohesion and Integration Act. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 6, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Ground 7, serious reasons to believe that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has committed crimes under Sections 45(1), 46, 47A(3), and 48(1) of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act, and Sections 2, 3, 4, and 7 of the Proceeds of Crime and Anti-Money Laundering Act. For the past 2 years, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has inexplicably amassed a humongous property portfolio estimated at Kenya shillings 5.2 billion, primarily from proceeds of corruption and money laundering. The value of the property and wealth that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has acquired over the last 2 years is incompatible with his non-legitimate income, that is Kenya shillings 12 million per annum or thereabouts. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has acquired the above-mentioned property and wealth using his 2 sons, Kevin Rigathi Gachagua, that is Kevin Gachagua, and Keith Ikinu Rigathi, that is Keith Ikinu, and other close family members and associates as proxies. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua and his proxies, especially the two sons, have used the following companies to massively launder money, conceal proceeds of crime, corruption, and benefit from influence peddling. Number one, Spiritway Limited, PVT-Y2ULDMKY, date of incorporation 14th of September 2023. Shareholders, Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi, who is director, stroke shareholder, stroke beneficial owner with 100 shares. 2, Fortis Viz Group Limited, PVT-MKUMAKEE, date of incorporation 14th of February 2023. Shareholders, Kevin Rigathi Gachagua with 50 shares and Keith Ikinu Rigathi 50 shares. 3, Grand Bypass Apartments Limited, PVT-5JUZEKL8, date of incorporation 11th of January 2024. Shareholders, Rigathi Gachagua, Director, John Mwai Madenge of 7676931 as Director, Peter Njoroge Regeru, number 4686103, Director, Vipingo Beach Resort Limited, number C159289, shareholder with 1 share. 4, Kuruwitu Properties Limited, PVT-EYUBKG83, date of incorporation 26th of April 2023. Shareholders, Vipingo Beach Resort Limited, number C159289, as shareholder with 1,000 shares, and John Mwai Madenge. Number 5, the Anansi Collective, BN-JRCG76AG, date of incorporation 29th of March 2021. Shareholders, Keith Ikinu Rigathi. 7, Calvary Creed International Limited, number CPR/2015/186154, date of incorporation 16th of April 2015. Shareholders, Rigathi Gachagua with 50 shares, Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi 950 shares. 8, Cosmia Venture Limited, number PVT-Q7ULE6Z, date of incorporation 26th of February 2018. Shareholders, Herman Zoita Maina 200 shares, James Mwangi Kagodho 50 shares, Kevin Rigathi Gachagua 250 shares, Keith Ikinu Rigathi 50 shares, Irene Nyanjao Washira 250 shares, and David Kipkemboi Mudhamia 200 shares. Number 9, Cristo Kenya Limited, number CPR/2009/4898, date of incorporation 12th of June 2009. Shareholders, Kevin Rigathi Gachagua 200 shares, Keith Ikinu Rigathi 200 shares. 10, Delta Merchants Limited, number CPR/2009/4874, date of incorporation 9th of June 2009. Shareholders, Rigathi Gachagua 200 shares, Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi 200 shares. 11, Vipingo Beach Resort Limited, number C159289, date of incorporation 5th of August 2008. Shareholders, Kevin Rigathi Gachagua as Director, Keith Ikinu Rigathi, Director, estate of the deceased James Nderito Gachagua, shareholder with 10,000 shares. 12, Rigathi Gachagua Foundation, number CLG-XXFXRG, date of incorporation 11th of November 2022. shareholders Rigathi Gachagua. 13, Dorcas Rigathi Foundation, number CLG-G9FV2G, date of incorporation 19th of October 2022, shareholders Kevin Rigathi Gachagua, Keith Ikino Rigathi, Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi, Nancy Wamboi Kang'ethe. 14, Heartland Supplies Limited, number CPR/2009/4881, date of incorporation 11th of June 2009, shareholders Rigathi Gachagua, director shareholder with 200 shares, Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi as director and shareholder with 200 shares. 15, Karandi Farm Limited, number C94303, date of incorporation 25th of June 2001, shareholders Rigathi Gachagua as director, shareholder with 700 shares, Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi as director and shareholder with 100 shares. 16, Morani Manufacturers Limited, number PVT-8LU7Q8GD, date of incorporation 13th of October 2021, shareholders Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi as director and shareholder, 200 shares, Keith Ikino Rigathi, director and shareholder, 200 shares, Joshua Karianjahi Waiganjo, director, shareholder, 600 shares. And Grace Washuka Mwangi, beneficial owner. 17, Mothers of the Land Limited, number CLG-55FD3B, date of incorporation 1st of December 2021, shareholders Louisa Njeri Wanjiro, director stroke member, Caroline Jepkemboi Waiyaki, director stroke member, Lucy Njogoine Mutegi, director stroke member, Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi, director stroke member. 18, Pioneer Medical Kenya Limited, number CPR/2009/4910, date of incorporation 9th of June 2009, shareholders Rigathi Gachagua as director stroke shareholder, 200 shares, Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi, director and shareholder, 200 shares. 19, Ryder Furniture Mart Limited, number C141876, date of incorporation 18th of July 2007, shareholders Rigathi Gachagua as director and shareholder, 500 shares, Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi as director and shareholder, 500 shares. 20, Royal Crimson Ventures Limited, number PVT-LRU2QZL, date of incorporation 26th of February 2018, shareholders Kevin Rigathi Gachagua as director and shareholder with 400 shares, Keith Ikino Rigathi as director and shareholder, 400 shares, and Peter Kangagi Githaiga as director and shareholder, 200 shares. 21, Technical Supplies and Services Limited, Kenya Limited, date of incorporation 6th of June 2009, shareholders Rigathi Gachagua as director stroke shareholder with 400 shares. Sorry, I said that again. 21, Technical Supplies and Services Kenya Limited, CPR 2009/4895, date of incorporation is 6th of June 2009. Shareholders are Rigathi Gachagua, director stroke shareholder with 400 shares, and Francis Moshiri Wanguo, director. And 22, Wamunyoro Investments Limited, number C93670, date of incorporation 23rd of April 2001, shareholders Kevin Rigathi Gachagua as director stroke shareholder with 1 share, and Keith Ikinu Rigathi, director stroke shareholder with 1 share. To illustrate, in November 2023, Cristo Kenya Limited, number 9 in the above table, a proxy company of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, purchased Outspan Hotel, situated at Nyeri Municipality Block Stroke 1 Stroke 1669 from Aberdare Safari Hotels for Kenya shillings 535 million. The directors of Cristo Kenya Limited are the sons of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, namely Kevin Gachagua and Keith Ikinu. Sometime in August 2024, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua publicly admitted that his family had acquired this property. B. In November 2023, Kevin Gachagua and Keith Ikinu, the proxies of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, acquired Treetops Lodge, a high-end hotel situated in Nyeri County. Sometime in August 2024, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua publicly admitted that his family had acquired this property. C. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua and his proxies also acquired Olive Gardens Hotel and Queensgate Serviced Apartments in Nairobi. D. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua acquired Vipingo Beach Resort in Kilifi County. E. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua acquired a parcel of land known as Rogoro stroke Kiamariga stroke 1223 in Madera East constituency, where he constructed a helicopter landing facility. F. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua acquired approximately 40 acres of land in Kakuret in Kamburaine in Nyeri County. G. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua acquired 80 acres of land in Meru County. H. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua acquired a dairy farm in Nyandarua County. I. Additionally, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua used his office of Deputy President to exert influence and connive with unscrupulous Ministry of Lands officials to issue an allotment letter to Amunyoro Investments Limited, a company that he owns, to acquire LR 209 stroke 12077 and LR 90923 situated at Embakasi in Nairobi, whose value is estimated at Kenya shillings 1.5 billion or thereabouts. After that, this company used the fraudulently acquired documents to support a court case at the expense of the legitimate owner of the property. J. Moreover, companies associated with His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua and his proxies were involved in the KEMSA Kenya shillings 3.7 billion irregular procurement of malaria nets that put the lives of millions of Kenyans at risk. K. In addition, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has used the office of Deputy President to corruptly influence unnecessary and expensive renovation of his official residence in Karen and Mombasa, running into millions of shillings. In essence, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has chosen personal comfort, extreme luxury, and pomposity at the expense of service delivery to the people of Kenya. L. Images of some of the properties that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has acquired from proceeds of corruption, influence peddling, and money laundering have been provided and relate to the following. 1. Treetops Hotel, located in Nyeri. 2. Outspan Hotel, located in Aberdare Ranges. 3. Olive Gardens Hotel, Agwings Kodek Road. And 4. Vipingo Beach Resort. Additionally, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has the following proxy companies to trade with the office he holds. A. Agrobrick Investments Limited. It is a private limited company incorporated in Kenya on 28th May 2017 and a certificate number PVT RXUP6E. The company deals in building and construction. The company's directors / shareholders are A. Rudani Mayur Kumar Mahendrabai, and B. Patel Ankit Kumar Hasmukbai, a Kenyan national. 48, the company operates a bank account, number withheld for data protection reasons, at Syrian Bank, opened on 19th February 2022, with the company directors as the account signatories. On 18th October 2022, Bhavika Nathalal Hirani was added as an account signatory and given the full mandate to operate the account. Bhavika Nathalal Hirani is a proxy of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. On 23rd January 2023, the company account received a transfer of Kenya shillings 47,015,367 shillings and 75 cents from the Executive Office of the Deputy President. The payment was supported by a notification of award letter, reference number ODP ADM ADM.1 57 VO.4 bracket 70 dated 16th December 2022 from the Office of the Deputy President to Agrobrick Investment Limited for the proposed refurbishment of Deputy President's official residence at Karen at a cost of Kenya shillings 55,559,520. B. Payment voucher of Kenya shillings 55,133,265.92 was received on 10th January 2023 as the first interim payment in respect of the contract ODP-RT-001, ODP-RT-001/2022-2023. C. An agreement letter dated 22nd December 2022 between Office of Deputy President and Agrobrick Investment Limited for the proposed renovation of Deputy President's official residence in Karen. Bhavika Nathalal Hirani signed the document as a director of Agrobrick Investment Limited. On 23rd January 2023, the funds were suspiciously transferred through a transfer of Kenya shillings 45 million to a related entity, that is, Vaggiani Enterprises Limited. Shockingly, the account had been dormant for around 9 months before it received the payment from the Office of the Deputy President, adding to the reasonable suspicion that it was a special purpose vehicle to siphon funds for His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. B. Lusona Events Limited. This is an events management company that was registered on 30th of October 2012 under certificate number CPR/2012/87037. The company directors are A. Esther Wanjiro Njenga and B. Cecilia Mudhoni Njenga. The company operates 2 accounts at the SBM Bank, which it opened in 2015. The company's directors are account signatories. Ian Njuguna Gitata was also introduced as an account signatory and is the sole account operator, pointing to the likelihood that he is the beneficial owner. Between 1st January 2024 and 11th July 2024, the account at SBM Bank received a total of 100 million shillings, 262,821.43 cents from the Office of the Deputy President, characterized by the receipt of multiple transfers. On 2nd of July 2024, the Deputy President's Office paid Lusona Events Limited part of the above-mentioned proceeds of corruption and money laundering in 8 transactions in a single day as follows. On 2nd of July 2024, the amount of 2,946,900. Secondly, on 2nd of July 2024, the amount of 4,806,639 shillings. Thirdly, on 2nd of July 2024, the amount of 4,679,130 shillings. Fourthly, on 2nd of July 2024, the amount of 2,955,450 shillings. Fifth, on 2nd of July 2024, the amount of 3,374,400 shillings. Sixthly, on 2nd of July 2024, the amount of 5,451,912 shillings and 40 cents. Number 7, on 2nd of July 2024, the amount of 3,582,536 shillings and 50 cents. And number 8, on 2nd of July 2024, the amount of 3,840,625 shillings and 60 cents. A substantial portion of the Kenya shillings 100,262,821 and 43 cents was used for luxurious largesse and unnecessary expenditure for carpets, etc., laid down for the Deputy President's functions. Some of the funds were utilized as follows. A. Ian Gitata made Kenya shillings 22,800,000 in cash withdrawals. Some of the withdrawals were declared as cash to pay undisclosed beneficiaries. It was suspicious why they preferred cash payments as opposed to bank transfers. B. Kenya shillings 4 million transferred to a law firm. C. Kenya shillings 26,993,350 investment in fixed term deposits as follows. 1. On 27th of May 2024, Kenya shillings 9,993,350. 2. On 11th July 2024, Kenya shillings 17 million. The utilization of funds was reasonably believed to be an act of corruption and money laundering, as most of the money was withdrawn in cash rather than bank transfers, which is a custom for huge payments. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua is reasonably suspected to be the principal beneficiary of these dubious transactions. C. St. Nicholas Rehabilitation and Industrial Training Institute Limited. The company was incorporated on 8th of April 2021 under registration number PVT-AAACMO4. It deals with student rehabilitation and industrial training, trading as St. Nicholas Rehabilitation Center and Psychiatric Hospital. The sole company director is Nicholas Mugambi Maingi. The company operates an account at Equity Bank, opened on 18th August 2017, with the company director as the sole account signatory. Between 1st March 2024 and 5th June 2024, the account received a total of Kenya shillings 21,060,000 from the office of the Deputy President. The funds were suspiciously utilized as follows. A. Kenya shillings 2 million was allegedly used to purchase a white Toyota Prado from Umarali Motors Limited for Kenya shillings 8.5 million. B. Another Kenya shillings 4 million was suspiciously transferred to Nicholas Maingi's account. A cash trail in the personal account revealed that upon receipt of the funds, Nicholas made a transfer of Kenya shillings 4,660,000 to Umarali Motors Limited on 21st March 2024. the purported payment to Umarali Motors Limited using two routes raises reasonable suspicion of corruption and money laundering. Further, prior to receipt of the two payments from the Office of the Deputy President, the account was transacting in minimal accounts, raising suspicions that the entire transaction was a conduit used by His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua to siphon public funds. The payment scheme used typifies money laundering transactions. From the matters outlined in the preceding parts, it is patently clear that there are serious reasons to believe that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, using his state office, has committed gross economic crimes, namely conflict of interest, abuse of office, conspiracy to commit crimes under A, sections 45(1)(a), 46, 47(a)(3), and 48(1) of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act, and B, sections 2, 3, 4, and 7 of the Proceeds of Crime and Anti-Money Laundering Act. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to count 7, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Ground 8, serious reasons to believe that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has committed crimes under Section 132 of the Penal Code and Section 29 of the Leadership and Integrity Act. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has continuously misled members of the public through false, malicious, divisive, and insightful remarks that are contrary to the provisions of Section 132 of the Penal Code and Section 29 of the Leadership and Integrity Act. To illustrate, sometime in January 2024, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua made a sensational but false accusation that Honorable Justice Esther Maina, Judge of the High Court of Kenya, had engaged in corruption. He publicly said he would present a petition for the removal of the said judge, which he has not done to date, leading to the inevitable conclusion that he knew his allegations were false. On or about 26th of June 2024, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, recklessly and unmindful of the high calling and dignified status of the Office of the Deputy President of the Republic and his membership to the National Security Council, both being positions that require one to be a discreet and tempered leader, especially during moments of national crisis, addressed Kenyans on live television in Mombasa County and publicly made sensational statements against the National Intelligence Service, an essential national security organ, its director, and officers. The following is an excerpt of part of his speech. I quote, "The Director General of the National Intelligence Service, Nurdin Haji, was a junior officer in the National Intelligence Service before he was appointed as DPP. When he was appointed to the office of the Director General, because of his inferiority complex, he chased away all the people who were senior to him when he was in the service, therefore crippling the capacity of that service and making it dysfunctional. 3 directors were chased away and reassigned to desk jobs in ministries across government. 13 assistant directors, men and women with proven track record of intelligence collection and analysis, were removed from the National Intelligence Service, leaving a shell and a clueless Director General who has no capacity to run the organization. And that is why the security sector was caught off guard by the intensity, the anger of the Kenyan people, the agitation of the Kenyan people, the resilience of the Kenyan people." End of quote. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 8, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Part C, gross misconduct pursuant to Article 151(b)(3) of the Constitution. Ground 9, gross misconduct, that is public attacks on National Security Intelligence Service and its officers. The phrase gross misconduct generally refers to behavior that is, quote, very unpleasant, disgusting, or very rude, This is from the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary. Therefore, public attacks against an essential national security organ in circumstances that require one to be discreet and tempered constitute gross misconduct. A leader to be discreet and tempered, especially during moments of national crisis, addressed Kenyans on live television in Mombasa County and made a scathing attack on the National Intelligence Service, an essential national security organ. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua extended the extremely reckless personal attacks to the Director General of the institution. With the unprecedented acts, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua acted in a manner that is incompatible with the high calling and dignified status of the office of the Deputy President and member of the Cabinet and the National Security Council. The attacks against the National Intelligence Service and its Director General constitute gross misconduct and an impeachable offense to the extent that A, they are incompatible with the high calling and dignified status of the office of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. B, they undermine national security from both internal and external points of view. C, they are incompatible with the effective discharge of the delicate and sensitive mandate of the National Intelligence Service. D, they had the potential, given the circumstances prevailing in the country at the time, to significantly diminish public confidence in the viability of the Kenyan state and its ability to protect the lives and properties of its citizens. E, they go against the constitutionally prescribed oath of allegiance of the office of the Deputy President under Article 148, 5A of the Constitution, which requires the Deputy President to obey, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and all other laws. Your Excellency, Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 9, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Ground 10, gross misconduct, that is insubordination. As stated in ground 9, the phrase gross misconduct generally refers to behavior that is very unpleasant, disgusting, very rude. This is from the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary. Therefore, open or public insubordination of the President, who is the head of state and government under our constitutional framework, is gross misconduct. As stated in the preceding parts, Article 147(1) of the Constitution designates the Deputy President as the principal assistant of the President, who shall deputize for the President in the execution of the President's functions. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has persistently undermined, demeaned, and committed insubordination instead of assisting the President in executing the state executive mandate. Instead, he has opted to run a smear campaign against the presidency for political expediency. Further, whereas Article 147(2) of the Constitution requires the Deputy President to perform the functions conferred by the Constitution and any other functions that the President may assign, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua is openly sabotaging the state's efforts in agriculture, including the coffee, tea, sugar, and milk sectors, which the President tasked him to oversee. To illustrate, A, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has connived with cartels in the tea sector to block the Kenya Tea Development Agency from implementing guaranteed minimum returns that would benefit smallholder tea farmers. B, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has influenced his family members, allies, associates, and proxies to take control of a local cooperative society, name withheld in Madeira, which they are financially hemorrhaging. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 10, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Ground 11, gross misconduct, that is bullying. As stated in ground 9, the phrase gross misconduct generally refers to behavior that is very unpleasant, disgusting, or very rude. This is from the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary. Section 34 of the Leadership and Integrity Act provides that a state officer shall not bully any person. Bullying includes repeated offensive behavior that is vindictive, cruel, malicious, or humiliating, and is intended to undermine a person. For the past 2 years, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has persistently bullied state and public officers. To illustrate, A, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua bullied Kenya Medical Supplies Agency officials into awarding a tender for the supply of mosquito nets to Crystal Limited, his proxy company. Crystal Limited has submitted a fake bid bond with the sole intention of fraudulently acquiring public property. B, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua routinely bullies public officers in national security organs whom he subjects to public attacks and humiliation. C, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua routinely summons procurement officers in ministries and state institutions and instructs them to direct the procurement of goods and services in a particular manner. D, in the presidency, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua identified public officers who he thinks stand in his way of creating dominance within government and political kingship, and he has severely threatened, intimidated, and harassed them. E, in 2023, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua used his position as a deputy president to intimidate public officers and a contractor to divert materials meant for the construction of the Kilifi-Malindi Road to tarmac a private road to Vipingo Beach Resort, a hotel associated with him. F, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua uses his constitutional power as deputy president solely to implement sectarian, parochial, and personal interests that seek to profit him. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 11? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
His Excellency the Deputy President, you may take your seat. Counsel for the National Assembly, you may proceed to respond to the objection that has been raised by Counsel for the Deputy President.
Perhaps, Mr. Speaker, sir, just before Council responds to my application, for efficiency and expediency, permit me also to bring to the attention one more application in respect to the documents that were served upon the Deputy President. Mr. Speaker, sir, by a letter that you referred to, sent from the Speaker of the National Assembly to the Speaker of the Senate, the Speaker of the National Assembly did submit the documents that emanated from the National Assembly.
Counsel for the Deputy President, take your seat first. You'll have your moment.
Mr. Speaker, sir, if I could take a few moments this afternoon to respond to the preliminary objection that has been raised. I have three quick issues in response to that objection. Number one, the Constitution of Kenya at Article 77 is the primary law that then speaks to restrictions on activities of state officers. In particular, Article 77(1) reads, "A full-time state officer shall not participate in any other gainful employment." Mr. Speaker, sir, that article introduces one critical variable: gainful employment. Mr. Speaker, sir, gainful employment has been defined within our laws. Specifically, Section 26 of the Leadership and Integrity Act has defined what would amount to gainful employment. If I may, Mr. Speaker, sir, Section 26(1) reads, subject to subsection 2, a state officer who is serving on a full-time basis shall not participate in any other gainful employment. It then proceeds at subsection 2 to say, in this section, gainful employment means work that a person can pursue and perform for money or other form of compensation or remuneration which is inherently incompatible with the responsibilities of the state office or which results in the impairment of a judgment of a state officer in the execution of the functions of a state office or results in a conflict of interest in terms of Section 16. And so to our response, there has been no assertion that learned senior counsel James Orengo, by representing a party before this House, has participated in gainful employment. In any case, what evidence has been tendered before this Honorable House to speak to that fact? Mr. Speaker, sir, that is a question that has also received judicial interpretation. If I may, in the election petition number 3 of 2013 filed in the High Court in Busia, a similar application was made, again objecting to the participation of the Honorable James Orengo Senior Counsel in the proceedings in that matter. The judge handling that case interpreted both Article 77 as read with Section 26 of the Leadership and Integrity Act and had this to say at paragraph 28, that it had been argued that by representing a party in an election petition, the Honorable Senator would be compromising the political neutrality of his office. I would not agree. Section 23 of this Act is a provision on political neutrality expected of appointed state officers. Honorable Orengo holds an elective position. Elected members of Senate are politicians. The provisions of Section 23 do not apply to them. So even if it was to be assumed that, that by representing the third respondent, Honorable Orengo is pursuing a political agenda, that would not be inimical to his office as a member of the Senate. And so, Mr. Speaker, I submit that unless there is material that will be tabled before this House, that by appearing for a party before this House, then the Honorable Mr. James Orengo Senior Counsel would have engaged in gainful employment. That objection does not stand any merit. Number two, the second test that has been applied by courts is the test around conflict of interest. Again, Mr. Speaker, our courts have had occasion to interpret what amounts to conflict of interest. In a case determined by a 5-judge bench, a case reported in our laws, that is EKLR 2018, the case of Philomena Mbete Mwilu versus the DPP and two others, the bench, in determining and dismissing a similar application, defined conflict of interest as a situation where one is confronted by two different interests so that serving one interest would be against the other. Mr. Speaker, sir, there hasn't been any conflict of interest that has been, even in the least, mentioned by the objector to the participation of Senior Counsel, the Honorable James Orengo. Finally, has there been an indication as to any prejudice that could be occasioned by the participation of the Honorable James Orengo Senior Counsel before this House this afternoon? To the best of my recollection, none has been mentioned. Is counsel, for instance, saying that the participation of the Honorable James Orengo before the proceedings in this House would be such that they would fundamentally impair their defense when they get the opportunity to present the case? I'm just asking myself. That has not been said. In any case, Mr. Speaker, sir, if that was to be the case and the fear that has been presented, then as advocates, as counsel, we operate within very clear and defined rules. Those rules are meant to ensure that a party before this House, just like would be a party before any court or any other forum, does not suffer or does not have a compromise to their rights to fair hearing under Article 50. In the absence of any prejudice that has been mentioned before you, we urge that that objection be dismissed. I've also had occasion to look at the case that was referred to by my learned friend, Mr. Njiru, and with respect, that case turned on two critical points. The first one being that the participation of the Honorable James Orengo as a senator in that matter was said to have had the potential of compromising his participation or departure between what led to the finding in that decision and what we have before you. The judge in that specific matter also went on to add that there must also be established a question or a fact of benefit. Again, I reiterate that no indication, no evidence, or even assertion has been presented before this House to suggest that the Honorable James Orengo Senior Counsel has in any way benefited by being in this House participating as counsel. So with that, Mr. Speaker, sir, we urge that that objection be dismissed. I am most obliged.
Thank you, Counsel, for His Excellency the Deputy President.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. And in brief response to the submissions by my learned friend, there is no denial that has come from counsel's defense that Senior Counsel Honorable James Orengo is here on pro bono basis. That evidence has not been brought. That claim has not been denied. He's therefore here as counsel earning a fee, and that is what Section 26.
Senior Counsel, don't go to that line of argument. If the evidence of him acting pro bono has not been laid on the table, has the evidence of him earning been put on the table?
Mr. Speaker, sir, the only presumption.
No, we are not going to presume facts. We are not.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I am well guided, but may be noted and may go on record that the grounds laid by Section 26, subsection 2, have not been rebutted by the submissions made by counsel insofar as the gainful employment in these proceedings is concerned. Number two, he is here as a governor of Siaya County, not as a senator. And as such, the petition number 3 of 2013 is distinguishable from the fact that he's here as a serving governor. And that is what Section 26, subsection 2 speaks to. And that is also equally the provisions of Article 77 of the Constitution. Further to that, Mr. Speaker, sir, the test of prejudice is a creation by counsel. It is not the one that at Section 26, subsection 2, and Article 77 speaks to. The only test is gainful employment. Unless that one is rebutted, the general presumption, again, Your Lordship and Mr. Speaker, sir, and that is a legal presumption, unless it is rebutted, is that he is here for a main purpose to earn a living. Mr. Speaker, sir, I leave that to the House to make a determination. Permit me once more to move the House with my last and final application. Yeah, insofar as, Mr. Speaker, sir, these proceedings are in issue. Mr. Speaker, sir, on the 8th of October, 2024, this House was served with a resolution from the National Assembly by the Speaker of the National Assembly, via the letter that the Speaker of the Senate referred to. That letter, Mr. Speaker, sir, appears at page 547 to 548 of volume 5 of the National Assembly's bundle of document. There is no, Mr. Speaker, sir, we were then served with two sets of documents, an affidavit dated the 11th of October, deponed by one Peterson Jomo Mushera. Our objection, Mr. Speaker, sir, is that that document, that affidavit, did not form part of the documents that were submitted by the Speaker of the National Assembly to the Speaker of the Senate. It's our argument, Mr. Speaker, sir, that this is new evidence. Further to that, Mr. Speaker, sir, we were equally served with a bundle of documents from the National Assembly, which is labeled as Volume 8A, which is also indicated as responses from various government agencies. Again, Mr. Speaker, sir, this is new evidence that does not find itself at page 547 to 548 of the bundle of documents submitted to you or to this Honorable House by the Speaker. The prejudice, Mr. Speaker, sir, is that our response was exclusively limited to the documents that we were served with. Further to that, Mr. Speaker, sir, it's our argument and our application that these documents will prejudice our case in the sense that, Mr. Speaker, sir, they will violate our rights to a fair hearing. This is trial by ambush by the National Assembly. It's a tradition of this House, Mr. Speaker, sir, and I refer to the findings of this House in the Honorable Governor Sonko in a ruling delivered by the Speaker of this House on the 17th of December, which ruling barred the County Assembly of Nairobi from introducing any new evidence. It has been the tradition of this House to protect all the parties that appears before it, so that, Mr. Speaker, sir, justice will not only be done, but will also seem to be done. We move this House to have these documents expunged from record, and the National Assembly be barred from relying on these documents. Mr. Speaker, sir, if these documents will be admitted, we shall suffer prejudice in the sense that we shall have no ability, or we shall have been denied an opportunity to respond to the same. We urge you, Mr. Speaker, sir, to hold that these documents is new evidence, and we rely on Rule 19 of this House rules. Noting that, Mr. Speaker, sir, the rules guiding these proceedings today do not provide for how to deal with new evidence as and when the same is brought to the attention of the House. However, the rules guiding the proceedings in the impeachment of a governor or deputy governor provides that new evidence shall not be admitted. Further to that, Mr. Speaker, sir, permit me to bring to your attention the findings in the case, in the civil appeal number 21 of 2014, which was the case of Governor Wambora versus the County of Assembly of Embu. Mr. Speaker, sir, in that case, Justice Odiek, may the Lord rest his soul in peace. Chief Justice Martha Koome, as then was, and Justice Vishram held that these proceedings of the impeachment of a president or deputy president are paramateria to the impeachment of a governor. That is to say, they are identical. So what applies in those rules in the impeachment of the governor can equally and should equally apply to these rules. And finally, this house being a house of record, then we are bound by our previous precedents. I am most obliged.
Now, Counsel for the National Assembly, you have 1.5 minutes to respond. You may respond now, or you may respond after the lunch break.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I could respond shortly after the lunch break.
Under our rules, we have to rise at 1:15.
Permit me then to respond after the lunch break. Most obliged.
So, honorable members, I will deliver ruling at 2:30 and then allow the Counsel for the National Assembly to proceed to respond to the second limb of the objection.
To you. This is a live broadcast brought to you by the Kenya Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in conjunction with Kenya Broadcasting Corporation on this Wednesday, October 16th, 2024. In the order of business today, there is a procedural motion, exemption of business from the provisions of Standing Order 43. This is by the leader of the majority party, that this House resolves to exempt the business appearing as Order number 9, 10, 11, and 12 in today's order paper from the provisions of Standing Order 43, being a Wednesday morning, a day allocated for business not sponsored by the majority or minority party or business sponsored by a committee. A motion for consideration today is the consideration of Senate amendments to the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill, the National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2024. This is by the Chairperson, Budget and Appropriations Committee, that the Senate amendments to Division of Revenue Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2024 be now considered. There's also a motion for the alteration of the calendar and resolution to sit on a specified Friday. This is by the leader of the majority party, that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 28.4, calendar of the House, and 33, this House resolves to commence the short recess on Tuesday, 22nd October 2024, and hold sittings on Friday, 18th October 2024, commencing at 9:30 a.m. for the mornings. For 9:30 a.m. for the morning sitting and 2:30 p.m. for the afternoon sitting, for purposes of consideration, for purposes of considering priority businesses, including mediated bills. Another motion set to be discussed in the National Assembly this morning is the consideration of mediated versions of the Water Amendment Bill National Assembly Bill number 33 of 2023, also by the leader of the majority party, that pursuant to the provisions of Article 113(2) of the Constitution and Standing Order 153, this House adopts the report on the Mediation Committee on the Water Amendment Bill, National Amendment Bill number 33 of 2023, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 15th October 2024, and approves the mediated version of the Water Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 33 of 2023. The inquiry into regulations and illegal grant of tax exemptions to a company under the Special Operating Framework Agreement is also another motion sent to be discussed this morning. This is by the Chairperson, Committee on Delegated Legislation, that this House adopts the report of the Committee on Delegated Legislation and the inquiry into irregular and illegal grant of tax exemptions to a company under the Special Operating Framework Agreement, laid on the table of the House Thursday, 26th September 2024. Another motion to be discussed this morning is the comprehensive report of education bursary schemes to ensure free basic education in Kenya. This is a motion by the Honorable Esther Passaris MP, that aware that Article 43(1), as read together with the Article 53(1)(b) of the Constitution, provides that every person has the right to education and enshrines the right of every child to free and compulsory basic education. Further aware that Kenya Vision 2030 identifies education as a critical component for transforming the country into a global competitive nation. Appreciating that bursaries play a vital role in supplementing funding for enhancing access to education, particularly to students from disadvantaged backgrounds. Another motion to be discussed is the establishment of the Science Museum. This is by the Honorable John Kiare MP. And if you're just joining us, this is a live broadcast brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in conjunction with Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. Just walking into the chamber is the Deputy Speaker, who will be presiding over the proceedings today, Wednesday, October 16th. Do enjoy your viewing. Have a lovely morning. My name is Doris Getonga.
Pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important trusts in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Sergeant at Arms, ring the bell for 10 minutes.
The Speaker of the day has called for a quorum bell to be rung for 10 minutes. This is to ensure there's enough quorum to start the business of the day. A quorum of the House or of a committee of the whole House shall be 50 members. This is according to the Standing Orders 34, which also says that if there's not a quorum present when the chair is taken at the time appointed for a meeting of the House, immediately after the saying of the prayer, the Speaker shall order the bell to be rung for 10 minutes, and if no quorum is present at the expiration of the 10 minutes, the Speaker may direct that the bell be rung for a further 5 minutes, and if there is no quorum present, the Speaker shall adjourn the House forthwith to the next meeting. I'll continue to take you through some of the business that is scheduled to be discussed this morning. There's the motion of establishment of the Science Museum, which is by the Honorable John Kiarie MP, that aware that Article 11B of the Constitution provides that the government shall recognize the role of science and indigenous technologies in the development of the nation, further aware that the Vision 2030 provides for the integration of information, communication, and technology in the country's transformative agenda, concerned that exists no science museum for consolidating indigenous scientific and technological innovations, training and research purposes in the East African region, appreciating that integration of science and technology would greatly enhance Kenya's economic and societal success, noting that there is potential for growth in the technology sector by establishing a science museum, further noting that the informal science education plays a key role in the progression of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which is the STEM. Acknowledging that science museum operate as a nexus between science practitioners, policymakers, and the public, cognizant of the fact that a science museum in the country will greatly impact on the economy of the country in quest to becoming an industrialized nation. Now, therefore, this House resolves that the national government, through the relevant ministries, establishes and operationalizes a science museum in the country. This will be a resumption of debate that was interrupted on Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024 in the morning sitting. Another motion that is set to be discussed this morning is the national sensitization and support for combating sickle cell and hemophilia disease. This is by the Honorable Peter Nabulido, MP. Also in the second reading this morning will be the Kenya Information and Communication. As indicated by the Sergeant at Arms, the quorum has been achieved. Allow me to hand you over for the live proceedings. Enjoy your viewing.
Okay, we may proceed, honorable members. First order.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers. Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Honorable members, allow me to reorder the order paper. We will move to order, instead of going to order number 7 now, let's go to order number 8, followed by 9, then 10, then we'll come back to order number 7. You may announce order number 8.
Order number 8, procedural motion, exemption of business from the provisions of Standing Order 43.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I beg to move that this House resolves to exempt the business appearing as order number 9, 10, 11, and 12 in today's order paper from the provision of Standing Order number 43, being a Wednesday morning, a day allocated for business not sponsored by the majority party leader, of course, or minority party, or business sponsored by a committee. Honorable Speaker. Yeah. Let me take it again, Honorable Speaker, so that a day allocated for business not sponsored by the majority party and minority party, or business sponsored by a committee. I beg to move, and then I will ask that we move this business that appears on number 9, 10, yes, 9, 10, 11, and 12. We move it, Honorable Speaker, as per Standing Order number 43. Being a Wednesday morning, that is, of course, usually allocated for the leadership and the business sponsored by a committee, Honorable Speaker. So I beg to move, and then I will ask the Honorable Kuria Kimani to second, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, as our whip has said, we've lost quite a number of days in the course of this week and last week, and therefore it is important that we prioritize the government business and exempt today being a Wednesday morning sitting when it's meant for private members' discussions. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I second.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that this House resolves to exempt the business appearing on order numbers 9, 10, 11, and 12 in today's order paper from the provisions of Standing Order 43, being a Wednesday morning and a day allocated for business not sponsored by the majority or minority party or business sponsored by a committee. Okay. Honorable members, I now put the question that this House resolves to exempt the business appearing on orders number 9, 10, 11, and 12 in today's order paper from the provisions of Standing Order 43, being a Wednesday morning, a day allocated for business not sponsored by the majority or minority party or business sponsored by a committee. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Order number 9, motion. Consideration of Senate amendments to the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2024. Question to be put.
Honorable members, I now put the Senate amendments to the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2024 be now considered. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Order number 10, motion. Alteration of the calendar and resolution to sit on a specific Friday.
What is your point of order?
Madam Speaker, yesterday I was on the... No, let me finish. Tell them.
Let me allow him to. It's okay. Yes, there's a division, so we'll go to vote.
Madam Speaker, yesterday I was on the floor of the House when we were debating about motion number 9, and it was clear nobody supported this motion. I would beg you, I request you to repeat the question so that the members can make proper decision, Madam Speaker, on this matter. Thank you.
Okay, honorable members, I think what I'll do is put the question again because it means that members didn't understand. Okay, honorable members, I now put the question that the Senate amendments to the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2024 be now considered. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The nays have it.
Order number 10, motion, alteration of the calendar and resolution to sit on a specific Friday.
You can move motion number 10.
Members, I beg to move that pursuant to the provision of Standing Order number 28.4, the calendar of the House number and 33C, and that is the House of Meeting, that this House resolves to commence the short recess on Tuesday, 22nd October, and hold sittings on Friday, 18th October 2024, commencing 9:30 a.m. And that is for a morning sitting, and later in the afternoon, Honorable Speaker, we'll be having a 2:30 p.m. for the afternoon sitting.
Just read, just read the motion as is in the order paper. Don't add your own words.
For purposes of considering priority business, including mediated bills. Honorable Speaker, the rationale for seeking a resolution of the House to alter its calendar, it is that so that we are able to sit on Friday, 18th October 2024, arises from the fact that we need to recover time lost by the House on Mazingira Day, which was actually a public holiday last week, and the suspension of our sitting to allow public participation on the special motion. Remember when we had the public participation last week or the other week, I think it was last week, Honorable Speaker, for the proposed removal by impeachment of the Deputy President, and the sitting used to consider the special motion. And also, Honorable Speaker, it is also due to the urgency to conclude certain priority business, pending before the House, pending in the House before we go for recess. And this includes, Honorable Speaker, the sugar bill, which is very crucial that we really need to dispense on, the water bill, and the division of revenue bill that we've that is also that of course is going to be referred for mediation as going by the voting this morning, Honorable Speaker, and any other mediated bills, Honorable Speaker, that are going to be received in the course of the week. Honorable Speaker, we'll also use the opportunity to list for second reading several individual private members' bills, and that is of course pursuant to Standing Order number 141. This bill currently, they total, they're actually 52 in number and are likely to lapse when the House proceeds for recess on 6th December, if not concluded for their second reading. And that is why it's very important, Honorable Speaker, for us to do that. And then there is also need to provide room for the House to consider any other urgent business, Honorable Speaker, that may arise requiring expedited considerations, Honorable Speaker. So I beg to move that, and I will ask the Honorable Emmanuel Wangwe to second.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to second the motion by the whip majority party that, Honorable Speaker, we alter the calendar as he has moved the motion. Honorable Speaker, just citing only one bill, which is in mediated version, which I'm the chairperson, the sugar bill, Honorable Speaker. I want to present the paper late this afternoon. And Honorable Speaker, now that the majority whip has put it into consideration, my people will be waiting to see that this bill goes through. So my absence from the constituency because of moving this bill will be value for money, and I'm pretty sure my people will be happy and the Kenyans will be happy. I second the motion.
Now put the question, propose the question. I now propose the question that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 28.4, Calendar of the House, and 33C, Hours of Meeting, this House resolves to commence the short recess on Tuesday, 22nd October 2024, and hold sittings on Friday, 18th October 2024, commencing at 9:30 a.m. for the morning sitting and 2:30 p.m. for the afternoon sitting, for purposes of considering priority business, including mediated bills. Honorable members, I now put the question that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 28.4, Calendar of the House, and 33C, Hours of Meeting, this House resolves to commence the short recess on Tuesday, 22nd October 2024, and hold sittings on Friday, 18th October 2024, commencing at 9:30 for the morning sitting and 2:30 p.m. for the afternoon sitting, for the purposes of considering priority business, including mediated bills. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. We can now go back to order number 7.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
We have a request for a statement by the Honorable Mohammed Bidu, member for Isiolo South. Is he here? Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2c, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Department Committee.
Apologies, Honorable Bidu. I'm sorry. I realize that we actually have questions. So let's start with the questions and we'll come to statements. I've seen the order paper. We do have questions. So we'll start with the questions, then we'll go back to statements. So you may sit down. You'll have your turn in a minute. Okay, so there's an ordinary question by the Honorable Member for Nyandarua, Honorable Faith Gitau, to ask the National Police Service. You may proceed, Honorable Gitau.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I wish to ask this question. When will Police Constable Nelson Wahome, PF number 36703, who was unfairly dismissed from the service in September 1990, be reinstated despite being acquitted by the Bugoma Court Vide case number 2076 of 1990? State the timelines within which Mr. Wahome will receive payment for outstanding salaries and benefits for the period he has been out of employment, as well as compensation for the unwarranted violation of his labor rights as guaranteed under Article 41 of the Constitution. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
This question is to be replied by the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security. How much time do you require, Honorable Tongoyo?
Considering that the House will be going on recess, possibly 2 weeks when we resume.
Thank you. We now have a question from the Honorable Member from Mbeere North, Honorable Ruku. He's not here. We will skip the question. He loses the opportunity. And the next question is also by the same member from Beren North, Honorable Ruku. In the absence of the member, we shall skip those two questions. We shall now go back to statements. So, Honorable Bidu, you can now make your request for a statement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order number 44, 2C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the tenure and transfer of the Deputy County Commissioner for Garbatula in Isiolo South constituency. Honorable Speaker, the National Government Coordination Act 2024 provides for Deputy County Commissioner in respect of every sub-county, mandated with coordinating national government functions at the sub-county level. It is with great concern that I raise the issue of deteriorating security situation in Garbatula's Isiolo South constituency and failure by the Deputy County Commissioner and his team of the area to adequately address the issue. Over the past 5 years, residents of Garbatula have faced rising cases of insecurity and have persistently appealed to the Deputy County Commissioner, Mr. Stephen Nyakundi, to address the issue to no avail. This issue has negatively impacted the social economic lives of the residents, including a 5-year closure of Bisanadi Primary School, Corbesa School, and Corbesa School as a result of unmitigated conflicts between feeding communities in the region. Just recently, the Ministry of Interior and National Administration announced transfer of Deputy County Commissioners, including that of Mr. Nyakundi. However, in a quick turn of events, his transfer was reversed, which makes this the 4th time this has happened in the last 7 years. Consequently, this has sparked public outcry as the residents believe that the Deputy Commissioner has failed to fulfill his mandated duties, particularly in maintaining peace and fostering cohesion within the sub-county level. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. Reasons for the repeated reversal of the transfer of the Deputy County Commissioner for Garbatula, despite demonstrable failure by the DCC to end the persistent insecurity in the region. Number 2, measures being taken to effect the transfer of the DCC of Garbatula in Isiolo South constituency and post-a replacement. And number 3, strategies put in place to enhance the transparency and efficiency of the transfer process of national government administrative officers to ensure that they are in a position to serve their assigned regions effectively. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Thanks.
The question shall be responded to by the Departmental Committee for Administration and Internal Security. Honorable Tongoyo. How much time?
Okay, of course, Honorable Speaker, when we come from recess, but with actually a lot of respect to the rule of the House and the Honorable Member, listening to what he was saying, this is purely a human resource issue that I think will not have really warranted to be put as a statement, because the Ngawa office, or the officers who are responsible with the issue of placement and transfers of our officers, their offices are actually open, and they do this based on merit on individual cases. So I would rather challenge or ask them, Honorable Member, if we found it fit, just get to the office of the Administrative Secretary Administration and discuss even the issue. It's more better even if approached in that manner.
Okay, I think he's noted that point, but nevertheless, because the member has sought a statement to this, just put in the request.
Well guided.
Yes, he's going to either have the committee will make sure they get the report, the response for you. So 2 weeks, Honorable Tongoyo? Okay, thank you. I know you don't have to wait after recess. You can actually send out, because the government is not on recess. So if you send out the letter today, then by the time we come back from recess, the response will be there. So you can't put the country in recess also. Thank you. The next question is by the Honorable Member, nominated Member Abubakar Talib. Honorable Bidu?
Yeah.
Yes?
I have tried to go to that office severally. 4 times the transfer has taken place.
Honorable, because you are out of order, allow him to proceed.
Where do I go? Can I be given assurance, Madam Speaker?
Yes. Honorable Member, I've already ruled that the chairperson will send out the letter today or tomorrow, and then by the time we come back from recess, there should be a response. So it's sorted out. Thank you. What's your point of order, Honorable Russo?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I respect your ruling on this matter. But as the Honorable Chair has already affirmed, this is a human resource issue. And what the Honorable colleague is saying is this particular DCC has overstayed in that area. And as a result, the citizenry are up in arms, complaining. And that is why some things are administrative. They don't have to come to the floor of the House. But I believe as a committee, we will also pursue so that it doesn't really waste the time of the House when it can be done by the ministry. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Okay. Honorable Member, that's a point noted, but let's allow the relevant State Department to do that response to the member, not yourselves. Now you're acting like the State Department. I think if the member wants the response from them, I think that's a good point, especially if it's been pending. So let's move to the next request for statement by the Honorable nominated Member Abubakar Talib.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request a statement from the Chairperson of Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning regarding the abrupt termination of operation by Direct Line Assurance Company Limited. Honorable Speaker, on 10th September 2024, Direct Line Assurance Company Limited announced the immediate cessation of its insurance business operation. In the announcement, the company stipulated that any further transaction must be conducted through its original shareholders. This development has raised significant concerns about the stability of the insurance sector and the welfare of policyholders across the country. Furthermore, it has created widespread confusion and uncertainty in the market, potentially affecting thousands of policyholders and the broader public. Honorable Speaker, it's against this backdrop that I request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning on the following. Provide a comprehensive report on the current status of Direct Line Assurance Limited, including detailed information on its ownership, shareholding, and number of policyholders. Clarification on legal status and validity of insurance policies issued by Direct Line Company Limited, particularly on the coverage and protection to vehicles and passengers in the event of an accident. Plans put in place to ensure that claims made by motor vehicle owners insured by Direct Line Company Limited are processed. Measures being taken to ensure that all vehicles with valid insurance covers from Direct Line Assurance Company can operate without hindrance for the duration of their policy validity and plans put in place to prevent future cases where the financial instability or closure of an insurance company could adversely affect the operability of insured vehicles and the safety of passengers. Thank you, Mr.
Chairperson for the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And from the onset, I would like to thank the Honorable colleague for bringing this matter to the attention of this Honorable House and to the attention of our committee. I know this is a matter of public concerns where several people are taking insurance coverage, but when it comes to the time to be compensated, then that challenge exists. And Honorable Speaker, without preempting maybe what the committee will do, the situation that's happening with direct line insurance is very unfortunate and should not happen in the first place. Because in any case, there exists a policy compensation fund where in the event something happens to an insurance company, whether insolvency or whatever challenge that come, then the person to the insurance policy holders should not be the one to suffer any loss. And therefore, maybe given the short time of recess, in another 3 weeks, we should be able to come back with a response to this Honorable House, hopefully to the satisfaction of the Honorable Member. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. And now we go to the request for statement by Honorable Joyce Kamene, member for Machakos County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. A request for a statement regarding the delay of disbursement for the National Government Affirmative Action Fund for Machakos County. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Department Committee on Social Protection regarding the delays in disbursement of the National Government Affirmative Action Fund, GAF, for Machakos County. Honorable Speaker, GAF is a cornerstone for our government's commitment to inclusive development by providing access to financial resources for socio-economic empowerment for the women, youth, people living with disability, needy children, and the elderly. Through the fund, many of our young men and women have found reliable avenue for promoting their enterprises and value additional initiatives, making it instrumental in transforming lives. Owing to the crucial contribution of affirmative action initiative in our societies, it is important to ensure timely disbursement of such funds and proper structure for its efficient administration. Sadly, Honorable Speaker, Machakos County continues to face inexplicably delay in disbursement, leading to accumulation of unspent balances for the financial year 2022-2023 and 2023-2024. GAF has been deploying Madam Betty Kanyiri Njoni of personnel number 2009-1421-27, Principal Gender Officer, as the county coordinator on extremely short acting contracts. These inexplicably intermittent deployments, separated by incoordinate delays spanning as long as 2 months for GAF to renew the contract, continues to cause serious administrative gaps that significantly disrupts effective administration of the fund. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Department Committee of Social Protection on the following. A report on the status of disbursement of the GAF balances for the financial period of 2022-2023 and 2023-2024 to the Machakos County, and the measures put in place to ensure timely disbursement to enable the continuation of projects approved for funding, and action being taken by GAF to immediately post Ms. Betty Kanyiri of personal number 2009-14-21-27 as the GAF County Coordinator for Machakos County for an interrupted contract for at least 1 year in order to ensure effective and seamless administration of the fund, including the timeline of the posting. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Signed, Honorable Joyce Kamene Kasimbi. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kamene. This question is referred to Committee on Social Protection. Is the chair in the House? In the absence of the chair, the vice chair. In the absence of the vice chair, then I would like to pass this to the leadership. When can the Honorable Kamene get a response? Honorable Osoro. In the absence of the chair and the vice chair, Social Protection Committee, to which this question by the Honorable Joyce Kamene is referred, I would like you to tell us when she can get a response.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I commit to whip the chair of the relevant committee, and I promise that with my push, we'll be able to get the answer once we resume back from recess. That should be about 2 weeks from now.
Honorable Kamene, is that acceptable to you, the first week when we come back from the recess?
Chair, Madam Speaker, I wish we'd have gotten an answer in the next 24 hours because we'll be going for recess, and these are balances that are within the headquarters of GAF, and I'll be at the ground, nothing doing, without even a coordinator, and you can easily remember that we had gone for another recess. I had nothing to do in the ground because we do not have these funds. And funds are available and they're at the GAF headquarters. Can I please get a better answer? Thank you.
Well, Honorable Kamene. Yes, do you want to respond to the Honorable Kamene?
Yeah. Honorable Speaker, I am just holding brief for the chair. I really do not want to make a commitment, Honorable Kamene, that I won't deliver. Please indulge me and allow me to push the Honorable Member to be able to do the response in just 2 weeks. It is not very long, Honorable Kamene. Immediately after we go for recess, you'll find a lot of other engagements with the great people of Machakos, and I'm sure you'll be so much committed, and you'll utilize the funds in the long recess that will be going just after we resume back. You can now be doing the capacity building and all the other things. Thank you very much, Honorable Kamene. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Before I go to Honorable Kamene, what is the out of order member for Tiati?
Madam Speaker, while I appreciate Honorable Osoro giving responses here on behalf of the chair, I am finding it difficult to understand the role of Honorable Osoro. Madam Speaker, Honorable Osoro is a majority whip. And a few minutes ago, the majority leader was here. What role is Honorable Osoro playing in this house?
So I want to ask you, Honorable Member for Tiati.
Can we be told
what is
happening?
out of order, Honorable Kamket?
What role
what is out of order?
is Honorable Soro playing? The majority leader has been around, and it looks like the Honorable Soro is acting majority leader. I do not know what's happening. Can you explain to us what is happening in the leadership of the Assembly?
Well,
are there changes that we do not know about? Can we be informed of what is happening?
What is out of order then?
We want to know whether there are changes in the leadership, Madam Speaker, because the majority leader is here.
Well, there's nothing out of order, Honorable Kamuket. For sure, there is nothing out of order. And I was able to watch the body language of the member for Machakos as she was being engaged by the Honorable Soro. And I would like to request for your patience that you get the answer in 2 weeks, so that you don't get commitments that are not possible, especially when we are on recess. Thank you, Honorable Member for Machakos. Next. The Honorable Abdul Haro, please proceed with your question.
Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2c, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on the Tourism and Wildlife regarding the increase in wildlife attacks in Mandera County. Honorable Speaker, over the past 5 years, Mandera County has witnessed an increase in human-wildlife conflicts. Many residents and their livestock have fallen victim to attacks by crocodiles, hyenas, and snakes, which has in turn caused physical, emotional, and financial devastation to the affected families. One such case is that of Mr. Ibrahim Abdullahi Ali of ID number 6411601, who was attacked by a hyena in a Babosone location on 27th June 2023, resulting in the loss of his right arm. His family, burdened with significant medical expenses, has been forced to seek specialized treatment in Awasa Hospital in Ethiopia. Similarly, Ms. Fatuma Nur Ali, a young woman from Abeyumur village in El Ram location, lost her life to a snake bite on 24th May 2016. Her case was duly recorded through the Kenya Wildlife Compensation Claim Form, serial number 694/MDR/2016, and submitted to the KWS Mandera County for processing. Unfortunately, 8 years later, her family is yet to be compensated. These incidents underscore a need to address and safeguard the well-being of residents of Mandera County. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Tourism and Wildlife on the following. 1. A comprehensive report on the support being provided to Kenya Wildlife Service to ensure prompt responses to distress calls in Mandera County. 2. A report on the immediate and long-term measures that the government has put in place to mitigate the recurring human-wildlife conflict in Mandera. 3. An update on the compensation status for the families of Mr. Ibrahim Abdullahi Ali and Ms. Fatuma Nur Ali, including specific timelines for the settlement of their claims. And 4. Measures put in place to streamline and expedite the compensation process to ensure timely and fair compensation for all victims of wildlife attacks. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Member for Mandera South. This question is referred to the Departmental Committee